Welcome everyone to the SO Summit. This conversation is about Microsoft's initiative for startups. Now, innovation is critical to unlocking the inclusive economic growth in Asia Pacific. We have high income economies in the region which invest 3 times more in research and development as compared to their peers. It is to spur this kind of innovative entrepreneurship, Microsoft has been working closely with governments, with industry partners, with startups to discover and to nurture technology startups with a high potential to become truly global enterprises in the future. In this conversation, we're going to talk about all this and more. It's a pleasure to introduce my speaker for this conversation, who's really been empowering every person and every organization on this planet to achieve a little bit more, which I think is a very enduring mission statement of Microsoft, something that she truly relates to. Her current role of the startup ecosystem lead truly enables her to support, to empower new age startups and entrepreneurs across the country to help them grow their businesses by really bringing them to the right products, solutions, and programs. She brings a wide breadth and depth of experience in various areas of startup ecosystem, GTM programs, developer marketing, concepting, consumer insight solutions, and product management and E2E software creation. Having always worked in white space initiatives like UID, developer evangelism, apps co-marketing, the GTM for B2B SaaS ISVs in India, and now helping startups engage deeply with Microsoft, she's someone who is focused, she's result oriented, and she is extremely passionate about startup and the developer ecosystem, product development, and even innovation and technology. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Sangeeta Bavi. Sangeeta, thank you so much for joining us for this conversation that everyone's so looking forward to.
Thanks, Dunya. I think I should come and speak more often. You just made me feel good about myself by, introduced by the introduction that you gave. But
Job done. Well, honestly, Sangeeta, I think the introduction was more a reminder of the amazing things that you've been doing and how you've been propelling Indian startups, Asian startups to do better than they have. Which brings me to question number one. Now, Microsoft for Startups has recently launched the Highway to 100 Unicorns initiative in Asia Pacific, and this is with you wanting to strengthen the region's startup ecosystem. We've also learned and heard a lot about what Microsoft is doing with unicorns like InMobi, Ola, and Udan. Let's start by you telling us a little bit more about what Microsoft is doing for upcoming startups. I'm referring to more of the early and growth stage startups.
Sure, happy to do that, Zinia. So, first of all, thanks for that elaborate and really good introduction. While all of us at Microsoft we are taking one step at a time towards fulfilling our mission statement, right? Empowering every person and every organization on this planet to achieve more. So we haven't done that yet. All of us are basically sort of moving in that direction. Coming back to your question, yes, we have been doing a lot of deep partnership work with, be it like unicorns in the B2B space, like an InMobi or iCertis, or in the B2C space, unicorns like Ola. If you look back at the Microsoft's philosophy in terms of how we do partnerships, right? Even look at the pre-cloud era. Our approach to basically go to market has always been via ISVs, partners. And now, of course, startups are part of that entire partnership model. So the way we basically partner with any entity, whether it is a startup, ISV, or partner, the moment that entity basically comes onto the Microsoft uh, ecosystem, uh, that that entity becomes a partner of Microsoft, right? And that partnership is basically based on three distinct pillars. One is the build with, which is everything to do with tech. So what happens in today's born and cloud startups, right? It's very essential for these startups to have the right architecture, because as they are scaling their business, the entire tech also needs to scale accordingly. So Microsoft basically provides that tech consulting, if I may say so, to these startups to help build a better and stronger tech, right? A better and scalable tech. The second part is that, in the cloud world, as the business scales, the cloud costs also start escalating. So how do we basically make sure that, we are helping all these startups optimize on their cloud spends? That's the build with pillar of the partnership, which has got everything to do with tech. The second part of the pillar is the go to market, which is everything to do with marketing, above the line, below the line, providing the Microsoft brand air cover to the startups via the various sort of marketing activities that we do, Microsoft led events and also Microsoft sponsored events. So we take our startup solutions as part of those events, campaigns, outreach, and help basically in terms of providing visibility to these startups, right, as part of the program. And then the third pillar is the sell with pillar, which means that Microsoft sells into enterprises, mid market, and SMB. How do we basically open up our channels, our machinery to also support startups enter all these customer segments, right? So back to your question in terms of what is it that we are doing for these upcoming startups, essentially whether it is a unicorn or a early stage startup or a growth stage startup, the construct of the partnership remains the same. Everybody basically gets benefits from build with, GTM, and sell with. It's just that the level of benefits differ. So the thing is that, say for example, if it is a very if it is a unicorn, which is almost like an enterprise, it will have global presence, right? It will basically have somebody like that will also have presence in other global markets, and also they will get a much more deeper coverage from Microsoft. That doesn't mean that if there is a upcoming startup which wants to sell into, say, other geography outside of India, we have other channels in through which we can make that happen for startups.
Okay, fantastic. As you were talking, Sangeeta, I was thinking when an entrepreneur starts to really break down the process of launching their startup into manageable chunks, one may get overwhelmed, with the sheer number of items on their to-do list. Now, Microsoft, that's where you come in and you help enterprises fast track, especially their digital transformation. So, for the benefit of all the startups that are watching us right now, can you tell all of our startups what are the various checkpoints that they would need to tick before they even approach Microsoft?
Got it. So there are, again, for availing each of these three benefits, right? Whether it is build with, GTM, or sell with, there are different checkpoints or different milestones for each of the startups. Essentially, we have for funded startups, there is a different program. For bootstrap startups, there is a different program. But essentially, we expect at least the MVP to be the startups are to be at the MVP stage, because that's when they get the best out of the Microsoft program. That's one. Second is just from a business perspective, right? If there are demonstrable wins that a startup has, and this is not friends, family, but somebody who's actually gone and tested their product out in the market, they've got a few customer wins on their own, because then they know that this model of theirs works, and they can then come to Microsoft, and Microsoft can actually help scale them. Why we kind of try to avoid getting startups who are kind of in the pilot stage to avail these programs is because ultimately a founder or anybody working in a startup, basically the most valuable resource that they have is time, right? And in Microsoft working through the sell with program, basically you have to, unless the startup has complete clarity of saying that, I want to sell into manufacturing into these 10 accounts, If that clarity is not there, what happens is that they have to go through multiple iterations and multiple pilots with Microsoft. Then the interest from the Microsoft sales team also kind of dies down. So what we typically encourage startups is, go through our tech engagement, through our marketing GTM initiatives in the early stage. And once you have a proven business model, you have a few sort of demonstrable wins, customer wins, then we open up our market access program, which we call as the sell.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for giving us such a detailed, explanation for that. We've also seen that you've launched industry-specific programs like AgTech and Health Tech, which are designed to help startups build industry-specific solutions to scale, to grow with access to deeper technology and business and marketing resources. So can you tell us a little bit more about this?
Yeah, sure. So again, it comes back. If you see what's happening in the enterprise space, right, in the B2B space, every industry is going through its own digital transformation journey. And digital transformation actually can be, there are literally like two ends of the spectrum in terms of digital transformation. One is where you are doing basic digitization, converting manual processes to digital formats, and the other end of the spectrum is basically through digital transformation, you are also creating new revenue streams, new business models, and so on and so forth. And each sort of industry is going through its own uh, sort of journey of the DT adoption. What we are basically doing as Microsoft, outside of the startup program, right, is that we are looking at creating, right now we have Azure, which is our cloud infrastructure and platform as a service sort of platform that we have to offer to our customers. Uh, some of the industry sort of customers are also looking at very industry specific solutions built on top of the Azure platform, right? Let's take the case of your agri and food sort of industry. We recently launched a service called the Azure Farm Beats, which is very industry specific sort of cloud platform service, which enables getting practical insights from the data that we have collected from various sources. Today in smart farming, if you have to look at what is currently the need of the hour, is basically having rich data insights, right? And how do you get this data? This is not available. So what we have basically done is we have created a platform which helps aggregate data from various sort of sources, satellite imagery, sensors, drones, and so on and so forth. And then on top of that, we have applied computer vision and machine learning algorithms and created these data sets, and we are making that available for everybody to use. Now think about a startup which is, an ag tech startup, which is basically providing a solution for the agriculture industry. This AgTech startup doesn't have to go and create something like FarmBeats. They just can use the service that is available, right? What it essentially does is that the AgTech startup can focus on doing the core work that they are supposed to do and not spend time in creating the basic algorithms, the basic cloud platform which Microsoft provides. So our intent of creating the AgTech program or the health tech program and other industry programs is essentially helping startups which are focused on certain industries, providing the building blocks to them so that they can go to market faster in terms of their product development as well as in terms of their business. And in terms of business, what we are doing is we are literally helping these startups co-build together. So we are literally handpicking about 4 or 5 startups and taking them to market and helping them build their product, create IP jointly. IP remains with the startup, but they basically are able to get the best from what Microsoft has to offer from a platform offering.
Which is fantastic. So, Sangeeta, you've given us some absolutely incredible insights. I'm wondering if you could share with us maybe one or more specific examples of startups that have scaled with Microsoft, and if you could share some of the best practices.
Well, there are quite a few examples, but maybe I can share what Yellow Messenger is doing, right? Yellow Messenger basically offers conversational bot services. It's a platform offering. When Yellow Messenger started, they started for providing the service for BFSI. And when they started partnering with Microsoft, we realized that this platform offering is not specific to BFSI. You can also take it to other verticals. So we started taking it to retail, to now it has gone into public sector. So that's one sort of form of scale that we are seeing, where we are helping startups look at adjacent sort of verticals apart from what their core focus is. That's one example. And now Yellow Messenger also is going global, taking them to geographies outside of India. That's one example. The other one that I can sort of share is so we, apart from the Microsoft sales machinery that I mentioned, right, we also work with a lot of partners. So one of our startups was basically provides accounting solutions to the SMB customers. So what we did with this startup is we basically helped that startup partner with an advisory, create a white label product with the advisory, and that as advisory partner basically did the entire GTM for that particular startup. Now, typically in the startup space, founders are very reluctant to white label their product IP and go to market. But then this founder was ready to sort of experiment. That sort of gave a lot of scale to this particular startup. And all these are examples of very early / growth stage startups. So two sort of examples which come to my mind. Yeah. And sorry, you mentioned what are the best practices, right?
Yes.
I think, it's startups are very nimble, agile, very fast, can literally tweak their business model, products in literally no time, right? That's the beauty of startups. And when you look at corporates like Microsoft, there is a process, there is a machinery to sort of make things work. But that also gives, if it works, it also gives that scale. So it takes some time for startups and Microsoft to figure how that partnership works. So one is just having that that patience of giving it some time. That's very crucial. Second thing is that the whoever owns the IP, whoever owns the product, knows how to sell the product the best, right? Nobody else can do it. So if I'm a startup and I'm coming to Microsoft will not know how to sell it, because the value proposition of what the startup has to offer, the startup only knows it best. So giving that clarity to a Microsoft or to any partnership that you're trying to land, that's very crucial. So I would say these are sort of the two things which were best practices used, which have been demonstrated by these founders who have found scale through the Microsoft partnership.
Fantastic. I'm going to ask you a question which is possibly the only subjective question in this conversation. Sangeeta, tell me personally, as far as startups are concerned, which industry are you most excited about and why?
Okay, I I think it would be not a particular industry, but startups which basically are driving social impact, right? Be it in the healthcare space, in the financial inclusion space. So inclusive healthcare is becoming very, very important, especially in the COVID times. I came across a startup from Pune, which was actually providing a remote mentoring surgical operation solution. So basically, there could be a very senior doctor from a very well-established hospital who could be sitting in his or own home, and from a video sort of call can be actually monitoring a remote surgery which is being done at a very not so resource heavy places. And that's the power of technology, right? That's what startups are actually doing. So anything which helps create inclusion, I think that is something I'm super passionate about.
Wow, that's fantastic to know. So, be it any of the Microsoft programs, I think as India moves ahead in this startup race, You support young entrepreneurs and startups to strengthen their relationship. So, of course, you are the go-to person for to give to Indian startups. What is that one or two things that you want every startup entrepreneur to know and to expect and also to be prepared for?
Xenia, I'm really sorry. I think it was bad network. Can you just repeat that last question because I lost you? Yeah.
Sure, absolutely. So, Sangeeta, I was saying that when it comes to advice for startups, you obviously are the go to person. So, what is your one or two pieces of advice for Indian startups?
Um, I'm not the go-to person for advice for startups. There's just so much that we from Microsoft get to learn from startups. But I would basically say this, right? Again, keeping it simple, driving that clarity, and having that focus, the ability to say no to something is very, very crucial because I'll tell you what happens in Microsoft. The moment we get one startup and that startup starts seeing traction, everybody in Microsoft will start wanting to do a bunch of things with this startup. I've come across a lot of founders who basically have said that, hey, no, this is not my core. I don't want to focus on this. I just want to focus on these two things which I signed up as part of the partnership. I think that's important, not just from a Microsoft partnership perspective, but for any partnership to work, right? That's sort of very, very crucial. So, yeah.
That's fantastic. Sangeeta, on behalf of everyone that's listening, thank you very much. I think this conversation has completely clarified that the business disruption and the growth that's happening as far as the startup ecosystem is concerned needs a certain kind of response. And with the support of Microsoft, a startup becomes far more confident that they'll discover more and innovative new solutions from deep other startup techs as well, and that you can really help solve some of the most pressing business, human, and technology challenges that are being faced by startups in India and across the globe. So thank you very much for this extremely insightful conversation. Thank you for joining us.
My pleasure, Zinia. Thank you so much.